Hello there friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Alan. Clone marksmen and snipers play a very important part of the Grand Army of the Republic's overall ground strategy. When facing a massive droid army where the majority of intelligence is concentrated in command units, a sharpshooter's longer reach and accuracy becomes indispensable. The fact that we rarely ever hear the exploits of the JR sharpshooters means that they're probably doing their jobs the correct way, discreetly and without a trace. Today we'll be taking a look at some of the top marksmen and snipers in the Grand Army of the Republic. In a normal military force, snipers are usually chosen based on a few different metrics. Among them are the amount of combat experience they have, their marksman ability, and physical fitness. Since the Grand Army of the Republic is made up of identical copies of the same individual, there aren't large variances between one soldier to another when it comes to their physical attributes. But there was a special batch of prototype clones that were made before the rank and file clone design was finalized. And like most prototypes, these clones, known as the Null Arc Advanced Recon Commandos, were packed full of features and not exactly stable. They were extremely dangerous and efficient on the battlefield, but they didn't make the best infantry grunts. The Clone Commando was built off of the Null class ARC Trooper template. They were designed to be less independent-minded and more loyal than Null class. They would normally be deployed deep behind enemy lines doing your usual commando shenanigans, which were oftentimes quite dangerous because of just the lack of support they received. The Commando clones were faster, stronger, and heavier than the basic clones, and much more aggressive with their tactics. Raised in a pod of 4, the connection between a Commando team was incredible. This made them able to predict each other's movements when out in the field. While each individual was cross-trained in a variety of different disciplines, they also specialized in one thing. There was usually an assault/breacher guy, a heavy weapon specialist, a tech guy, and a marksman/sniper. Now, the Clone Commandos, thanks to their advanced genetics and also the advanced training given to them by Jango Fett's Quil Voldar, essentially made some of the best sharpshooters in the entire JR. There are going to be a lot of these guys on this list. The most famous Clone Commando sniper might be RC-1207, or Sev. Trained by the fearsome Mandalorian Wallen Val, Sev and the rest of his Delta Squad were not loved and coddled from a young age. Instead, Wallen Val believed that such comforts created weakness, and that got individuals killed on the battlefield. Now, while some might see Wallen Val's training methods as a bit cruel and barbaric, it did seem to work because not only were his commandos extremely lethal, they suffered lower casualty numbers. And for those of you who have read the Republic Commando series, it's pretty clear that Wallen Val does have a lot of love for his troopers. He's just not really good at showing it. In many ways, Sev mirrors the personality of his trainer Wallen Val. Sev is a very serious and dangerous individual. Even his voice sounds deadly and full of malice.
07 locking into your HUD, sir.
Now, Sev might be all scary and cold upon first appearance, but if you really get to know him, his dark humor and passion for killing his enemy really makes him a valuable member of the team.
Die, you metalhead piece of trash.
Armed with his DC-17M and a sniper configuration, Sev was an elite warfighter. He was a very capable sniper who was able to deploy himself behind enemy lines by himself or just with a spotter, and also he would deploy with his squad as the designated marksman and provide very accurate fire against lethal high-level targets. And despite his often psychopathic tendencies, Sev deeply cared about his brothers, even though he was incapable of expressing it at times. During the Battle of Kashyyyk, Sev stayed behind, or by some account was left behind, when their unit was ordered by Grandmaster Yoda himself to pull out of the battle. He was listed MIA, but most likely survived the situation because he's Sev. There are very few clones and even clone commandos as well trained in the art of killing things than RC-1207. RC-8015 or 5 has a very interesting demeanor for a sniper. Snipers are oftentimes seen as serious, cold, and distant individuals who are constantly juggling the lives of their enemies through their scopes. They see death on a daily basis, and that is no laughing matter, but for some reason, RC-8015 not only has a great sense of humor, he's very optimistic about the future of his squad and his own life. This is a pretty strange thing because Phi, like many of the Clone Commandos, had lost all of his podmates, the only family he'd ever known, during the disastrous Battle of Geonosis. Clone Commandos were deployed on the grand battlefield like infantry soldiers in parade formation, where their advanced training and equipment mattered little. During that horrible day, out of the 10,000 clone commandos deployed, only 5,000 made it back alive. Five's entire unit, Omega Squad, was made up of lone survivors like him. His positive and upbeat personality helped keep his unit's morale high even when facing difficult situations. Five was also cross-trained as the team's medic. Now, because Omega Squad was trained by the legendary Kovaldar member Kalskarata, they obviously enjoyed some benefits that other units did not. Kalskarata always took care of his boys and made sure they had the best tools available to them. While the DC-17M interchangeable weapon system was no slouch, it still wasn't a purpose-built sniper rifle and sacrificed some range and accuracy for flexibility. RC-8015 was given a Verpine Shadow Rifle by Kalskarata to use. These were some of the most expensive and powerful rifles in the galaxy. And this is because they were essentially handheld railguns which could hit targets very accurately kilometers away. It could be loaded with all sorts of projectiles, and Kalskarata used to joke that even metallic rocks would work. During one mission, Phi used the Verpine Shadow Rifle to launch dust particles which actually have micro-transmitters embedded in them, which allow the Republic Commandos to track separatist terrorists who get hit by these projectiles. Phi would be injured during one raid and was shot at point-blank range in the face with a Verpine Shattergun, ironically. The Katarn armor he wore took the brunt of the impact, but he was placed in a coma and pronounced brain-dead by Republic medical droids. His squad mates, however, fought for survival and essentially stole him from the hospital and got a second opinion. Luckily, they were right. Phi would recover from his coma, although the brain damage that he suffered would be permanent. Not all clone sharpshooters were Republic Commandos. You also had rank and file clones who received special flash training to improve their marksman skills and tactics. These clone snipers were usually attached with larger units and used in special situations. Then you also had these normal infantry grunts who, through battlefield experience, realized that they were great shots, and then they became kind of like ad hoc marksmen for their squad or platoon. You had individuals like CT-2242 Cooker, a clone rifleman in Green Company. He received his nickname Cooker because he usually liked targeting the power cells of battle droids, which set his targets aflame. I mean, it takes a considerable amount of accuracy and nerves of steel to consistently hit the same spot on every one of your targets. Cooker obviously was a very special clone. CT-2242 used the DC-15A blaster rifle equipped with a marksman scope. The DC-15A is the primary blaster rifle for the clone army and featured an extremely long barrel, making it extremely accurate at longer ranges. It was designed with massive open battlefields like Geonosis in mind. During an operation on the planet of Rishi, Cooker would provide cover for Jedi Commander Kit Fisto as he assaulted a heavily defended and fortified Geonosian Exonian mine. The Geonosians Kit Fisto was facing utilized some sonic weapons which couldn't be blocked by lightsabers and required the Jedi to dodge them instead. Kit Fisto requested Cooker to fire bolts directly over his shoulder so that the Jedi could reflect the bolts back at enemy fighters. I think this is completely unnecessary. Kit Fisto is making the situation a lot more difficult than it needs to be. This is classic Jedi nonsense, but it does provide, Cooker an opportunity to show off his marksman abilities, which is good. It took a great deal of precision and coordination between these two individuals to pull off this kind of stunt, but the combined assault between Cooker and Kit Fisto quickly does wipe out all of the Geonosian defenders. Give that guy a proper sniper rifle, please. While Clone Force 99 is technically not a clone commando unit, they are organized and equipped in a very similar way. Each member of the original four-man team had a specific task, including Crosshair, the sniper in the group. Crosshair, like all of his brothers in Clone Force 99, possessed mutated genes that separated him from the other clone troopers and even the other clone commandos. Crosshair was said to have exceptional eyesight and reflexes, and we see that come into play on several missions he takes a part in. He's able to shoot droid poppers out of the air to increase their effectiveness and the spread of their EMP. He's even down for some extremely unnecessary but very impressive trick shots, which are designed specifically to piss off fellow Clone Force 99 soldier Wrecker, who also enjoys destroying droids in very interesting ways. It's basically Gimli versus Legolas all over again.
That still only counts as one!
Crosshair is Legolas, and he exceeds in making killing droids into a game. It's awesome. Despite his cold and intimidating demeanor, Crosshair was an extremely reliable sniper and was usually placed in overwatch positions on the battlefield. This was part of the reason why Clone Force 99 was so effective. When Crosshair was perched on the high ground, no enemy combatant could approach the squad unharassed. Unlike the other Clone Commando snipers, Crosshair used a 7.73 Fire Puncher sniper rifle from Marksmen munitions. While there might be more complete snipers and more effective marksmen on the battlefield, no other sharpshooter in the JR can match Crosshair's accuracy. There's a common misconception that clone commandos are indestructible. This might be because of their bulky armor, their physical attributes, or because of their advanced training. But the reality was the missions that the clone commandos were sent on were oftentimes many times more dangerous than what the rank and file clone infantry had to experience. To give you an example of just how dangerous these missions were, well, clone commandos were usually sent on missions that were usually reserved for Jedi teams. And after Order 66 occurred, Clone Commandos were one of the only units that were successful at hunting down rogue Jedi and exterminating them. The type of missions that the Clone Commandos were sent on usually led to high casualty numbers. Our next sniper is an unidentified Clone Commando. He was deployed alongside 2 commando teams in pursuit of a package stolen by Trandoshan bounty hunters. Trandoshans are not to be trifled with. They are nature's apex predators. From a very young age, they were trained to hunt and kill animals and even sentient beings. Their entire religion is based on hunting and killing things. The plan for the operation is for Blue Squad to block the road and stop the Trandoshan convoy, at which point White Squad, which our sniper is a part of, will be using explosives to take out the lead vehicle in the convoy. Unfortunately, when the trap springs, the Trandoshans quickly respond and open fire and take out all of Blue Squad. Despite just witnessing the death of 4 of his brothers, our sniper, holding what looks like an anti-material rifle, manages to headshot the driver of one of the speeders while it's in motion. It's an incredible shot, and because of it, the Trandoshans who have the package are forced to go on foot. Our brave sniper quickly transitions rapidly from marksman to an assault team member and equips a DC-17M interchangeable rifle. Together, White Squad breaches the building the Trandoshans are in, and they take multiple casualties while attempting to clear it. Our sniper unfortunately takes a shot to his backpack, which sets off some grenades, killing him. Despite the simplistic nature of the art in this cartoon, it probably accurately displays what happens in these type of missions that the clone commandos are routinely sent on, especially before the clones were given shielding on their Katarn armor. To make matters worse, it turns out the package that the Trandoshan stole was just some trinket given to Palpatine as a diplomatic gift. It clearly was not as important as the lives of the 7 clone commandos that died retrieving it. So those are the top 5 sharpshooters in the JAR. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard to compile this list. For some reason, the clone army just doesn't use a lot of snipers, and that's kind of confusing given the fact that their enemy force is made up of droids that have a very centralized command structure, that can be easily taken out by a sniper. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below if I've missed any other clone marksmen that you'd like to add to this list. And also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you don't miss out on the rest of our awesome content in the future. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. If you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.